Hey everybody, welcome to the In Between Podcast. This is the podcast where it gets real, and if you're not ready, it will hit you in the face. Today's episode is Star Wars Geek Out Day. I have my best friend here with me, and we're gonna geek out about Star Wars. So, just a spoiler warning: if you haven't seen season 2 of The Mandalorian, if you haven't seen it, where have you been this whole quarantine? That's all we did. Watched Mandalorian, waiting for the episodes to drop. But anyways, this is your only spoiler warning if you haven't seen season 2. So now it is my honor to bring my buddy here with me. Junito, how are you doing, my man? Thank you for being here. Thank you for joining me. It's an honor to have you here, man.
It's an honor to be here, man. I'm excited for this conversation and been looking forward to it.
Yeah, so for those that don't know, Junito is my hermano. He's my best friend. And today we are going to rock out some Star Wars stuff because we're hardcore Star Wars fans. I mean, just look at, I got a hat, I got a shirt. I even got Grogu here with me. So Junito missed the memo about dressing up in Star Wars gear, but it's all good.
Yeah, I did.
It's all love. So Junito, you want to say something about you? What do you do? How we met?
So yeah, I've known Heido for quite some time now, and we met through music actually, but that grew like a bigger relationship, and I'm very thankful for the relationship we have. It's a really good friendship. We're always there for each other,
Yeah.
and we share a lot of cool things like Marvel,
Yep.
DC, Star Wars, and it's not just the music. We just have a lot of things in common, so it's awesome.
We seriously do. Like, it's not just Star Wars,
Yeah.
it's music, it's Marvel, and I think I can bring up any topic and we have something in common. Like, that's that crazy.
Yeah, that's
So
right.
it's all good. Yeah, man, like I said earlier, I'm super thankful that you could join me in this conversation. So for those listening at home through the podcast, or those watching on YouTube, we will be talking about Star Wars. We will make it as relatable as possible to those that maybe aren't Star Wars fans. But I mean, this episode in particular is for a hardcore Star Wars fan. But we will try to do the best we can so that you can keep up with the conversation. So if you have seen the latest movies, you're fine. If you've seen The Mandalorian, you're gonna be perfectly fine. So let's dive into this conversation. So the first thing that I want to bring up is, how do we feel about the ending of season 2 of The Mandalorian? And overall, not just the cameo at the end, but the overall vibe of the show. How do we feel about it?
Well, uh, so much to say. I think first of all, it was good to see something incredible happen in the Star Wars galaxy,
Right,
man. Like
right.
we we've been empty for quite some time, and even in my opinion, the movies are not that great like the this show has been. I feel like this show is just on a different level, and I think John Favreau has done an amazing job with this, and I can't wait to keep seeing what they're gonna do with it. So overall, it's just I think it's just amazing. I can't say anything else about it. It's the best thing that's happened to us.
And I think I really like you said we've been in a drought because it had been so long since we had good Star Wars content. Anything Star Wars content. I think you and I go back to like the last thing that we were like, super into was Clone Wars. Remember
Hmm.
the TV show for kids?
Yep.
I mean, we were grown men still watching cartoons, but it was so good compared to the prequels. And
Yeah, it
then,
was.
it was just that
Hmm.
one thing that like fill your thirst for Star Wars. So, to
Right.
have this show, just come out and really rock out of the park, like it was a home run out of the park. I mean, for those that don't know, The Mandalorian was one of the first show. If I don't think it was the first show that premiered on Disney Plus. Um,
Mm.
right
Hmm.
besides all the movies that they dropped and everything that we had already seen, but this was like
Yeah.
why they dropped the Disney Plus was for this type of shows. And I think all of our expectations were blown away because we never thought we were going to get cinematic level movie scenes and storylines. And my overall feel for the ending of season 2 is I can't wait to have more. of Mando,
Yeah.
Din Djarin. I can't wait to see more of Grogu. I can't wait to see where they're gonna head next. What other places in the galaxy
Yeah.
we're gonna see, because that was one of the big things, right? Um, we saw places in Star Wars that we hadn't seen before. We hadn't seen in movies. Maybe there was a reference to in the comics, but we never saw them before. So, what do you think about that? Like those places, the new places that we saw, like in I think it was episode 2 of season 2, the Ice Planet. What do you think about that place we visited?
That was really cool. I like how they kind of like just threw that in. They kind of get make the world bigger, right? Like it's not just like you're just getting where they go to have the main story, but they do all these little side things that you're like, whoa, this planet, that planet, and it makes it feel like a bigger universe. It doesn't,
Yeah,
it makes it feel like, it's endless. Like we could
yeah,
go to just random planets and stuff can happen,
and stuff
and
can happen. Like, and
I
there's
really appreciated that. Yeah.
no, and there was just like wherever they went, there was adventure, right? There was just so much stuff that was happening. So,
Yep.
um, how do we feel about this now? In season 3, because season 3 I believe is dropping in January of next year. So I can't. I mean, Disney, why did you wait so long to drop it? But
Yeah.
I mean, I believe they just finished shooting as we speak, Mando. So all of
Okay.
Pedro Pascal's scenes were already are they just finished. They wrapped up that side of the production. So I think the next thing that they're doing, they're shooting the stunts that his double is gonna do. So I mean, yeah, we're not gonna see any Mando till next year. But in regards to this, where do we see Mando's or Din Djarin's character going into season 3? Where do you see this character going?
I'm
It's a
torn
it's
between
a it's a
different
loaded question.
storylines.
I know it's a loaded question, but
Yeah,
do your best.
just because I mean, there's what I would like to see. There's what I think might happen. There's so much with
Oh
it.
yeah, I mean yeah, we're gonna
Um,
be here all night.
well, first of all, I feel like he's they wouldn't just create him to be just another soldier.
Right,
You know what I mean?
right.
Just another Mandalorian soldier. I don't think they brought up this story just to end it in that fashion. Um, he's either I don't know, he's either gonna be a big sacrifice at the end for something greater for
Yeah,
Grogu for I don't know, or he's gonna be a main character
right.
in the future of the franchise, right? So, I mean, he is already a main character,
Yeah,
but specifically, I kind of feel like this next season is gonna be very centered towards the people of Mandalore. So
yeah.
it's not going to be like too much of Grogu. It might, but I feel like it's going to focus more on Mandalore and
Yeah.
the Mandalorians. So I feel like he's going to play an important role in growing back the Mandalorian people. So I
I
I I don't want to speculate and say he's going to be like the king, but you know what I mean?
we
Like
don't want the whole
it's just
Mephisto thing that happened to us with
yeah,
WandaVision.
yeah,
For those that
exactly.
don't know,
Don't want to get excited.
yeah, for those that don't know, you guys probably don't know, but every Monday, Junito and I would talk on the phone. We would chat on the phone, or we would text each other our theories during WandaVision, and Mephisto always came up to realize that he wasn't even close to showing up yet, and we took that big slap to the face at the end of the show. But spoiler alert for those that haven't seen WandaVision, but
Let's see, see.
I mean, oh, I honestly think, and with my answer, this is gonna take us to the next question. But I honestly think that there is a big reason as to why he ended up with the dark saber, right? We know
Mm,
that whoever has the dark saber and has won it by combat trial, right? Um, they are the next in line to take the throne, right? Of Mandalore.
that's right.
So at the end of season 2, we see Mando obtain the dark saber with him not knowing that him battling Moth Gideon would obtain him the title, the unofficial title of the ruler of Mandalore. And now we have Bo-Katan, and we'll get to that in a second. But so I think that yes, as much as I don't want to speculate that he might die, I think he might die. he really might be that sacrificial lamb to save Grogu, maybe, or stop another civil war between the Mandalorians, because that could happen. So,
That's a good point. Yeah.
right, that could happen. I mean, at the end of season one, we saw the Mandalorians come out, right, from their hiding place to protect Grogu and Din Djarin. So maybe he does have people that would back him up. Mandalorians. We
Right.
have, right, and then we have the Mandalorians that would back up Bo-Katan. So then we might see that struggle. I don't know. That that could expand the whole show from 3, 4, 5 seasons. I don't know if Disney's
Yeah.
ready to do that, but I mean, I can totally see a storyline where it goes that far. So with that being said, now that we've created this scenario, do you think Bo-Katan will turn evil?
Hmm.
Because she did look a
I
little
don't.
conflicted at the end when she realizes that the Mando Din Djarin has the dark saber, and now they have to battle it out for her to get it back. And remember, this is the one thing she had been looking Moth Gideon for the whole show since she was introduced.
Right.
He had something that she wanted, right? So now that thing that she wants, which is the dark saber, Mando has it. So do you
Yeah.
think that we might see a
So
character change? Will she turn
so
evil?
I I want to say she won't become evil. I I want I don't want her to be evil because I liked her character so much. She did an amazing job, and I feel like her turning evil makes me want to kind of hate her. So, um,
Yeah,
I
that's
think,
hurtful. To even think
yeah,
about it's hurtful because I mean, you and I
yeah,
are used to the character in the Rebels, right? And
yeah,
and, and so I mean, thinking of her as turning evil really kind of doesn't sit well. And I'm pretty sure that
yeah,
any hardcore Star Wars fan, it will not sit well to think Bo-Katan turning evil just to get the dark saber.
right,
But we have seen people do worse.
exactly, yeah, yeah. I mean, we got Anakin for example.
Oh my
So,
gosh, yes.
there's I think I want to think that she's gonna be the person to eventually rule,
Yeah.
um, and maybe I want to assume that she's not because of the sense that she wants to Mandalore to grow more than her own ambition.
Yeah.
Um, at least that's what the character gives off, like why does she want the saber? Well, she wants to unite the people of Mandalore. She's not just to rule, right? Um, but if she does turn out evil, it makes sense too,
It
like
does. It
trying
does.
to get power. And I would want to say that they will get to the point where they have to face each other.
Yeah.
I feel like that has to happen.
So
But I feel like Mando might surrender somehow,
surrender. Well, remember,
or not try as hard.
if he surrenders, it's not an honorable win. If he doesn't try as hard, and
Right.
she's seen him fight, so she knows
Yeah,
what he's able to do, what he's capable of doing. So
exactly.
if he's holding back
That's true.
punches, she will know and she will call him out on it. So
Yeah.
now I bring this scenario to you. How do you imagine a fight between Mando and Bo-Katan? How do you picture that? Have you ever after I mean it's been a couple months now since the show ended, season 2. Have you ever sit down and wonder what it would look like a fight between Mando and Bo-Katan?
Yeah. I have.
I knew it.
I
I
think it
knew
would
it.
be I think it would be amazing, dude. I think that I think that would make the show. Just that one fight, like I feel like it's gonna be almost a whole episode of them just fighting.
Imagine
You
imagine
know
they
what I
do
mean?
imagine they do that Dragon Ball Z thing. Remember Dragon Ball Z where one
They
fight would extend like
continue.
4 episodes. I think it was. I mean, they almost did
Yeah.
that for every big fight, right? When
Yeah.
Goku turned Super Saiyan for the first time, and he's fighting Frieza. They extended that for like 4 or 5
Yeah.
episodes. So imagine they did that
Yeah.
with Bo-Katan and just like, oh,
That
that
would
would be
be
crazy.
insane.
Yeah, it definitely would.
But yeah, I feel like it would get intense to the point where like, he he's about to beat her, but maybe he'll like miss on purpose or something.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah.
It's just like that's what I want to happen because I don't want them to be at a constant, continuous rivalry. You
Mm-hmm,
know,
mm-hmm,
I want
mm-hmm.
them to be able to grow Mandalore back and,
So you think we might see
him be a
this?
part of it. But
Do you think we
go ahead.
might see this fight early on, like first episode, just so they can get over it? Maybe they'll both be like, "Hey, let's get over this thing, and let's just decide who's gonna be who, so we can grow Mandalore." Do you think we could see that fight maybe episode 1 or episode 2?
Uh, it's very possible. I mean, unless they go a different route and they kind of introduce a new character
Yeah.
and then go back to that scene, I don't see them. If That's the only way it wouldn't be like in the first episode
Mm-hmm.
if they try to do that. But I feel like it will be early on
Okay.
just because they're there.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like what I don't feel them leaving that cliffhanger from the finale
For sure.
with unresolved. They have to know what happened
Yeah.
after it went dark. You know what I
Yep.
mean? Like,
No. Yep.
did they start fighting? Did she like go after him? Did he run away? They have to show something.
So in your
Which,
mind, you think they're gonna pick up right after Luke Skywalker takes off with Grogu, and then it's like the camera just pans to the left, and then Bo-Katan says, "Okay, now we gotta fight. We gotta fight for this."
yeah,
I can see that. That's
it's very
possible.
possible.
Yeah, it's possible.
It's very possible. I just, I feel like they either, if that happens, there's gonna be another fight of them later on. I feel like it's too big of a fight to just like, here's the beginning and then, I mean, I don't know, Disney's just amazing at what they're doing with
Yeah.
Lucasfilms, and John Favreau, what they're doing, and it's just like, I I speculate so much on a lot of things they do, and
Yeah.
it just blows my mind. Like, wow, they pulled it off.
They pulled it off.
You
No,
know what I
I
mean?
feel the same. Yeah. Like
Yeah,
no, they did so much stuff. They brought so many characters back. And it was just, I mean, it was just, they pulled it off. They really did pull it off.
yeah.
So now that we talked about Luke a little, do you think that we will see Sebastian Stan cameo as Luke, and maybe we'll see him train Grogu? Like maybe not a whole
Mm,
episode, maybe not the whole show surrounded, but um, I think someone during the press media for Falcon and the Winter Soldier, someone asked Sebastian Stan if he would cameo, if he would take up the role. I mean, of Luke Skywalker, and he said that if the original Luke Skywalker would give his blessing, he would do it. So I mean, obviously they're gonna give him the blessing. So do you
right.
think that we might see Sebastian Stan actually come in and do Luke Skywalker?
Hmm. I, I mean, it is possible. I don't. I think they would want to stay with the course they've already taken, though. You know what
Yeah.
I mean? They did such a good job with that fake that
Oh yeah.
could have fooled anyone. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
it didn't look bad at all. Um, but he would be a perfect fit in my opinion. He's a great actor, and honestly, it would make it more realistic than having a fake. But I think it would be cool.
Yeah.
If it's gonna happen, I don't know. I don't know if they would want to have the same actor from a Marvel movie in their Lucasfilm movie. You
Yeah.
know,
I mean, they're working for the same company, so it wouldn't be too big of a deal.
yeah,
But
that,
I think Falcon is one of those shows that we might see a season 2 of. So
yeah,
I think maybe it's pushing it. Maybe if they do like a movie, maybe he would come. That's what I was thinking.
that's true.
The CGI,
Yeah,
to be
and
honest, a
and
lot of people were complaining about the CGI, but I thought the CGI was
I
not
thought
the
it was
worst we've
good.
seen. I mean,
Yeah, I thought it was good.
compared to the horrible job they did in Justice League, the first cut, where
Right?
they cover Superman's mustache. I mean, compared to that, I mean it was almost impeccable. But I mean,
Yeah,
obviously, for those of us who grew up watching the original movies, I mean, obviously you can see the difference.
yeah,
But I mean, it was good. It was good.
yeah, yeah. And like you said, he's gonna be busy. So I feel like Marvel has a lot coming up.
Yeah.
Even in just this year is amazing what they're doing. So um, it's gonna be hard. I wouldn't say it would be hard for him to be able to balance all that stuff, you know. But we'll see. I guess we'll see.
We'll see. We'll see. So now this is gonna get touchy. How did Luke coming back impacted you? Because we hadn't seen Luke Skywalker since the original, and then the travesty and the horrific job they did in the latest movies. That, I mean, for most of us, we were like, "What the heck did you do to Mark Hamill? Why would you do this to this man?" Into the legacy of Luke Skywalker, to see him come back for Grogu in just the most epic way ever, just the best way Luke Skywalker could come back, destroying all those droids, coming back, breaking the walls, and saying, "I'm Luke Skywalker. I'm here. I'm a Jedi. Let's do it." I think that, I mean, it should have. If you're a real Star Wars fan, it should have impacted those. You know, it should have impacted you. It should have hit you right in the feels. So my question to you is, how did that impact you to see him come back?
Dude, I was jumping as soon as the X-Wing came out. And I didn't scream because I was watching it. I believe I was watching it at midnight
Yeah,
when they released it. So, I have people living in my house. So it's like I didn't want to wake everybody up, but I was like just like bouncing back and forth
yeah,
like, "Oh my gosh. No, they did it. No, they did it." And and then the way they pay off just how good it was,
yeah.
dude, it had me like they got to make a movie with this. Like, you know what I mean? Like
Be honest.
they
Did you
got to
cry?
continue this.
Be honest. Did you cry a little?
I I I did. And in my inner me started crying. My
Well,
inner child.
I will say this: I did cry. I did not like ball out crying, but I did teared up because, like you
Yeah,
said,
dude.
my inner child got one of my, like, I guess one of the biggest fantasies as a kid got fulfilled to see him come back, right? To see him come back, and
Yeah.
that was just like, I think to me the moment. I mean, obviously you see the X-wing come in the frame, and your mind triggers, this has to be Luke, right? But then when you see
Hmm.
him start battling, and remember the camera, the security camera was black and white, so you don't see the color of the lightsaber. So you're still
Yeah.
wondering, could this be him? You know, maybe it's some other Jedi. But then you see the glove reveal, right? Of his robotic hand, and then you see the style of his, like, of, his fighting style. It just gave it away, and I think, wow, I couldn't believe it. I honestly could not believe it. I did scream. I have people living in my house too, but I did scream. I didn't care. I'm like, I'm gonna scream for Luke Skywalker because he came back. No,
Yeah.
dude, it hit me right in the feels because, like I said, it was
Yeah.
like a childhood dream come true to see him come back after so many years, right?
Yeah. Yeah, and then in the manner he comes back too. Like he was just demolishing. We saw they did such a good job showing like the power difference between
Yeah,
Mando to Luke.
yeah.
Like he had the hardest time with one of
With
those
one,
things, and
yeah,
this guy
he
took
just
out how
took them
many? There was
all
like
of them.
30 of them or
Yeah,
40. Like,
yep.
dude, this guy destroyed them like nothing,
And
and it was amazing to me. Just seeing him back, and then showing he's ready to start training,
yeah,
um, gives opens the possibility of seeing him actually doing some training and build up the younglings and start
yeah,
training them is I think that's pretty cool too because it starts building up to what the movies kind of messed up,
yeah,
you know.
definitely.
and
So
and
you mentioned power level, the difference in the power level. If we go back to the original movies, we knew Luke was powerful, but we didn't really see
right.
his full power and the fighting style. Obviously, there's a big difference in CGI and fighting styles back then compared to now, but they did such a good job in showing him evolution his game after 5 years of the end, right? Of the first movies. And you see him just completely demolish, and you see him actually do what in your mind you think Luke Skywalker would do. To me, the moment that was like, that guy is powerful was when he did the Force Crush. Remember? OMG.
Dude.
That was insane because we've heard of. I mean, if you read the comics, the Legends comics, and all the other ones that now Disney said, they're not canon. If you read those comics, you heard about or you read about the Force crush, but it was forbidden to use it on live beings. So a lot of people were like, oh, that's out of the canon. He wasn't supposed to do that. He's a Jedi. Well, you got to remember, this was a robot. It wasn't a live individual.
Yeah.
He would have never done a Force crush. But that to me was like, this guy is not messing around with his power level and his power in the Force. He is not messing around.
Right? Yeah. Yeah, I feel you definitely see him in it with different set of eyes. Like, he obviously is the strongest person right now,
Yeah. Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
And there's no way around it. Just the the fact that he and like his composure too at the end, like he wasn't even sweating or you know what I mean? Like
nothing.
He
was just chill.
It's
like, oh yeah, I do this every day. I fight killer droids every day for breakfast. It's all good. I came to the rescue. So with that being said, and we just talked about the emotional thing that was seeing Luke come back. How was that different to seeing Boba Fett come back? Which one was the more gratifying to you? Seeing Luke come back or Boba Fett?
I think for me it was Luke. Even though Boba Fett's freaking awesome.
Yeah.
I love the guy too.
Yeah.
But for me it was Luke because even in the originals, like I liked him, but it was never like, oh, I want to watch it because of Boba Fett. Yeah. It was, I want to see what happens with Luke.
Exactly.
And I think that just kind of came back to me when I saw Luke. Even though when I saw Boba Fett, I was like, I did scream because that one I did watch in the day. I was like, sick! Like, I gave a little scream, but it was, I think, yeah, I have to say Luke is
yeah.
And even, what's crazy? Jet, my boy, in case anybody doesn't know, my son, Jet, he watches it with me.
Shout out to Jet.
And it was funny. Actually,
shout out to Jet.
Yeah. And it was funny because right before me and Heido connected, Jet was saying hi to Heido.
Yeah.
And he's like, did you watch Falcon and Winter Soldier? Like, he watches all those shows.
He did not ask me how I was doing. He just went straight to the important questions. And he was like, did you watch Falcon and the Winter Soldier? It's so awesome. I watched it with my dad. I love that, man.
So, like, when even him, which kind of shocked me when he saw Luke, he was like, it's him. It's him. Like, I was like, it is. So I felt like excitement from him, and it's like he didn't watch the originals like I did, and and just that the fact that he knows who Luke is and how excited he was was kind of like, wow, like, yeah, like, more people relate to Luke than I feel they do to Boba,
You were like, I'm a proud father. I've done my job if my kid goes crazy for Star Wars. And I think part of the problem with Boba Fett was that the first movies didn't do him justice. Right? Yeah. He was a Mandalorian. Yeah. He was supposed to be a badass, but he died in like the dumbest way possible. Right?
Right.
We see him and then he was like, they didn't even kill him on purpose. Like, it was an accident, right? And he just falls into the pit and then we don't see him again. Yeah. But then when we see him come back, and we just see him destroy those stormtroopers, I was like, this was worth the wait, because that guy just went berserk. I don't know if you ever watched The Punisher on Netflix.
Yeah.
And he remember the
remember
the fight scene in the jail when he has to face all those dudes and he just has one broomstick and he just starts going bananas and all of them. It reminded me of that a killer instinct that this man should have because of his training. Yeah. And you just see him go boom, 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 boom right after the other. And then we see I think it was like some like bullets or missiles coming out of his knee. that I didn't even know he had. I was like, what? What is this? What is this,
Yeah.
man? Like, Jesus, like, wow. And it was, like I said, it was just worth the wait after so many years of not having Boba Fett, not knowing if he died. I mean, for the longest, I thought he was dead, right? We see
Yeah.
him going to the
Yeah.
pit. I thought he was dead, and then we see that cameo at the end of season one of Mando. You're like, in what capacity is he coming back, right? And I think they did him justice, and I'm definitely looking forward for his show. It's only going to
Oh
be 4
yeah.
episodes, and it's dropping Christmas, but I am ready to see the Book of Boba Fett. I can't wait for
Yeah.
that.
No, yeah, I love the it's like you said, and I think that's something that all the new stuff is doing a really good job is showing how strong these people are. You know what I mean? Like they obviously he's not as strong as Luke, but he's as strong as Mando, or if not maybe a little bit stronger. Like he's at that level,
Yeah, yeah.
and it was sick. It was sick to see him
One
coming
thing,
back.
one thing
But
that
I did like Luke more.
oh no, definitely, yeah, definitely. I think
Yeah.
another factor that plays in here is the fact that back in those days, people weren't training as much for movies like this. For
Right.
action films, people weren't really training. If you see those movies from the 80s, 70s, right? You don't see a lot of action,
Yeah.
and if you do see some action, you could spot up the fake, right? It's so easy.
Yeah.
But now with the things that Avenger have done, the Batman movies, the Dark Knight series, with the level of
Hmm.
intensity that these people train to bring those fights in the cinematic world and make them look so realistic, now we can actually see the potential, right? We can
Yeah.
see the potential
That's
of
right.
these people fighting. So you said you lean more towards Luke, and I can't blame you. I think the same. Would you like to see a Disney Plus show based on Luke Skywalker and maybe building up the temple right before Ben Solo showed up and destroyed everything? Would you
I
like to
think that would
see?
be cool.
Yeah,
That would be cool. I think it would make the new movies a little bit more understandable, I think,
yeah,
or make us appreciate them more.
yeah,
I would think because you get to see the backstory of how Luke became who he is today, kind of thing.
yeah.
And I think that would be cool. Yeah.
I honestly, yeah, I'm on the same boat. I think it would piece together so many things that were left out in this in the Force Awakens and the Last Jedi
Yeah.
and the Rise of Skywalker. I mean, to this day, I think I've had this conversation with you. The the last movie, Episode 9, right? The Rise of
Hmm.
Skywalker. It just felt like it was so rushed that you could not digest one scene and then the other, right? Right off the bat, Ben Solo goes meets up with Palpatine. Right after that, Rey is training, and then it's like just on and on and on and on and on, and you get no sense of, okay, how is he back? How is this explained? And they barely explain it.
Hmm.
They barely give you any clues. But I think if we have a Luke Skywalker show, it would probably piece together all the little holes, all the little plot holes that the
Hmm.
movies have left. So yeah, I'm definitely on that same boat, man. I would really love to see a Luke
Yeah.
Skywalker show.
I would too, for sure.
So this brings me to the last segment of this episode today, and we're still talking about Star Wars, obviously, but
Hmm.
there is a Obi-Wan Kenobi um, series coming out. So I don't know about you, but my favorite Jedi's are Luke, and then second is Obi-Wan. But that's just me. What does your list look like?
It's hard to put them in order at the top five, man. Like,
Yeah, I
but for
mean,
sure, Luke is first, in my opinion.
yeah.
Um, you know, I as much as Darth Vader is evil, like he's up there too. He's not, I guess, considered a Jedi at that point, but when he
Mhm.
was a Jedi, he was still sick.
Well, technically, he did go
You know,
back to the Force at the end of the movie before
yeah,
he
that
died.
too, that too. That's
We
right.
could probably say he is a Jedi. So I think if my top five definitely has to be Luke, Obi Wan, then Master Yoda, and then probably
Master
Luke.
Yoda.
What's it called? Anakin Skywalker, and then uh, Mace Windu. Definitely those would be my
Okay.
top five. Those would be my
Yeah,
top five.
I like uh I like Qui-Gon Jinn. He's in my
Oh,
top five.
I think we might need to make this a
Is it?
top 10.
Keep adding.
Just keep
But
adding.
yeah, there's a lot of them. They and they and even the new like Ezra, dude.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Jet has his lightsaber. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah, 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 yeah.
that's how cool he is too. You know,
Oh no,
there's
yeah.
a lot of there's a
It's
lot
it's
of
just a
Jedi's
lot
that
of
are
pick and choose, and I think I mean obviously Luke. We say Luke is the first because of the movies and and
yeah,
just how he's built up as the hero. But in my opinion, Obi-Wan stands second in my books, just because of the way he was so honest with everything, right? Even
right.
till the last minute, he didn't want to kill his best friend, right? He's telling him, "Hey, I have
Mm,
the higher ground. Don't do it.
mm-hmm.
I'm giving you a chance. Don't do this." Right? I was still trying to help him, and he had to pull the trigger on that. But um, you just I don't know. I just there's this appeal to his character, like you want to see more, right?
Yeah,
So
for sure.
what are your theories for this show? What do you think we're gonna see? What do you think is gonna happen in this show?
Ah, so much can happen. There's just okay, so for sure we have to see some type of him protecting Anakin or
Luke.
because he's friend. I'm sorry, Luke. My apologies.
You're good.
There, you see, you see him. They have a relationship
Right.
when you see them in the movie, so they have to show how that relationship came to be. Um, he's like a guardian angel to him. Maybe he did a bunch of stuff that Luke was unaware about.
Yeah,
Um,
definitely.
you know, and I feel like we're gonna see a lot of that for sure.
I'm
Um,
on that same
I don't.
boat. I'm on the same boat. I think we're gonna see the opposite of what we saw in Mando, where Mando like literally had to carry Grogu wherever he went to protect. But in this, we'll see the opposite in the way that he will protect him, but from afar, right? From
Yeah,
afar, not close, but from afar. He's got to protect Luke. So, um, maybe we'll see a whole bunch of maybe we'll see Mandalorians as bounty hunters come after Luke, and he's gonna
yeah.
have to
That it
kill
could
him.
be.
Yeah, that's a couple of people that I was thinking of that today, preparing my notes for the show. I was thinking of that. Maybe we'll see some Mandalorians come this
Yeah,
way,
it's
and
possible.
we have to see Obi-Wan fight them off, right? So
Right.
definitely we'll see him. Um, do you think we'll see any other Jedi's besides Anakin? Obviously, at this point he's Darth Vader. Um,
Right.
but I mean, so I believe the show is taking place 5 years after Order 66, if I'm not wrong. Um, so I mean, he's full on Darth Vader at this point.
Hmm.
Do you think we'll see any other Jedi's?
I'm trying to think if it's possible he has a run-in with Ahsoka.
Yeah,
It's it's possible, right?
yeah, it's
Because
definitely possible.
yeah, because he Ahsoka disappeared pretty much after she fought Darth Vader, because that's when
Right.
uh Ezra pulled her out of that time warp thing. I forgot what it's called.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Um, yeah, maybe we see Ahsoka. Um, as far as Jedi's, uh, I don't know who else we would
So
see.
I have a theory. It might be a little far fetched, but I mean, we never saw a body in Episode 3, and what if we see Mace Windu show up? I mean, remember that there was a leak during Mando season 2 that said that at some point, either in season 3 or season 4, we would see Mace Windu come back. We never
Right.
saw a body. Do you think it's all possible that we might see Mace Windu in Obi Wan? Maybe he is the one who actually got Grogu out of the temple.
Like, yeah, maybe that's another thing too. We could probably see some of that as well. Um, we might be able to see some of the whole saving all the younglings or whoever saved Grogu.
Yeah,
Um, It's very possible. Like I feel like they're gonna fill in a lot of gaps
Yeah,
um,
definitely.
with this. It's just gonna be interesting to see how this they develop it, because it could be terrible.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like they could try to go with like its own story, its
Mm-hmm.
own
Mm-hmm.
thing that has nothing to do with any of the movies or something.
Yeah.
I feel like that would be a bad move. I don't think like having its own story, just
Mm-hmm.
because we're like Obi-Wan, we need to see Jedi stuff. We need
Yeah,
to
yeah,
see
yeah.
stuff that relates to him saving Luke. You know what I mean? Um,
So I think,
yeah, but
yeah,
it's possible we could see Mace Windu for sure.
I think that either Obi-Wan or Mace Windu are the ones who saved Grogu. In my head, it makes sense. Just
Right.
because, remember, Anakin was denied the status of master, and from what we learned from Ahsoka, only the masters knew because he trained with different masters. So we're going off context. So only masters knew about Grogu. No one else.
Hmm.
Jedi Knights didn't know. Padawans didn't know.
Right.
The only ones that knew about Grogu was the masters. So one question was, okay, so if Grogu and Anakin were training around the same time, wouldn't have Anakin ran into Grogu? If they were keeping Grogu secret, I mean, there's places in the Jedi Temple that we didn't see. I'm sure there has probably some secret rooms, right, where they probably had Grogu, and he trained with different masters. So maybe that's where they had him this whole time. And so when Order 66 go down, we never see a body of Mace Windu. So that could be theory one, right? Maybe Mace
Right.
Windu was the one that actually came back, even though he was like super wounded, but he still had the strength to go back into the temple and get Grogu out. Or, you know, I don't think I think Obi-Wan was off world, so he wouldn't be the one to save Grogu, actually. So maybe we see Mace Windu save Grogu, hand it off to uh Obi-Wan. I don't know. It's a big theory, because that honestly is the one piece that we all want to know: who saved Grogu,
Yeah.
right?
Yep. Yeah. There could be so much in it. I think Mace Windu would be good. Obviously, I would like to see. I can't remember his name right now. The guy that trained Ezra.
Oh,
Um,
oh man,
I can't
boy,
remember.
we're gonna have to look it
I
up
would
on
like to
Google right
see
now.
him. That'd be cool. Yeah.
I'm gonna look it up
I would
because
I would like to see him. It would be cool. Um, because you know
Canon
I feel
Jarrus.
like yeah, I feel like there should be more Jedi's involved. We're only thinking about like the main ones, but I feel
Yeah.
like there's gonna be other ones that were like, oh, that's right, this Jedi could have been there. And those that we don't really think about can pop up in the show,
Imagine,
and which would be
imagine,
amazing.
imagine we see a whole clan of Jedi's underground, sort of like the Mandalorians.
Yeah,
That would
that'd
be
be pretty
crazy.
sick.
Like
Yeah,
we see Obi-Wan stumbling into like a secret cavern, and there's like a whole bunch of Jedi's just training there, like like keeping it underground.
yeah,
That I think that would be pretty cool. I mean, obviously, I wouldn't
yeah,
see them as bounty hunters, but I mean, I can see them training and being secretive about it. Um,
yeah.
so that's one.
And
Go ahead.
we're definitely gonna see. I feel we're gonna see the Inquisitors.
Yes.
You know,
Oh
I feel like we're
yes.
gonna see some of
Oh
those.
yes. Yes. We have to see them. We
Yeah,
really have to see them.
I
Um.
feel like Obi-Wan's gonna have to fight a couple of them off.
Yeah. Yeah. Because I did hear that they are gonna have a big fight between Darth Vader and Obi-Wan.
Right.
So and I
They have
believe
to.
they no
I mean,
yeah,
what's the point of bringing back Anakin?
exactly.
So
What's the whole point of bringing him back? So do you think it's gonna be like a force fight or like an actual physical fight? Because I mean, we did see that Luke
hmm.
can project himself from one place to another
Right.
and actually have a battle with somebody. Because he did that with, right, with Ben Solo. But
Hmm.
do you think we'll see Obi-Wan do that? Force ghost from far away, or no, first fight from far away. from a whole. I forget the actual term that's called, but being in
Yeah.
one place and use the force to fight in another place.
Hmm. I don't know if that's something. I don't know if that's something that Luke picked up from him. I feel like, well,
Yeah,
yeah, I don't think he will.
yeah.
Honestly, like trying to think about it, analyze it,
Hmm.
because I feel like they possibly want to keep that as something that Luke can do
Something like
because of his
something
power
mystic that
level.
only him can do. Maybe.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's possible, but
I mean,
I don't know. I feel like they're gonna introduce something else though.
do
Like
do you think we might
there's
see
so
him?
much you could do with the Force. So
You think we might see him train with Master Yoda? Because they both do
mm,
turn Force ghosts.
yeah,
Remember in the last
yeah,
in the
that's
last
possible.
movie,
Yeah,
we hear, and this is why I think Mace Windu's still alive, because we never saw him in the movies, right? Actually learn to do Force Ghost, right? But then we
right.
see him speak to Rey, and we hear Mace Windu, sorry, and we hear
Yeah,
Yoda, and we hear Obi-Wan. So I mean, at some point, these three maybe get the band together, and just do maybe we see a Three Musketeer type of thing
yeah,
in Obi-Wan. That'd be pretty cool. I'd be
yeah.
down to see that. I'd be down to see that.
Dude, it'd be sick. It'd be sick to see like them three fight Inquisitors and Darth Vader. Like,
That would be
you know
crazy.
how crazy that would be?
Yeah,
That'd be an amazing fight.
that would be insane. That would maybe top off. That would be a little better than watching Luke take on all the killer droids,
Yeah,
because that
yeah,
would be just
honestly,
the.
that fight,
I mean, they have to do that. They have to
man.
do that. We're gonna take this
Yeah.
podcast and send it to Disney and be like, listen to what we said at this minute. Do that.
Dude.
Listen from minute 45 to 47:30 and do that in a movie. Or in a show. We need to see that. Do you think we will see Darth Maul?
I think we will actually.
Yeah,
I
he
feel
has to. They
I
have
feel
to.
we
They
will.
have to pay that off. And maybe we'll see Bo-Katan, or maybe not Bo-Katan, but a reference to Darth Maul
To the
and the Mandalorians,
Yeah.
right?
No, yeah, that is possible. You know, it is possible.
I think I'm a little. I
Man,
think
there's
we're a
so many
little.
things that are
We're a
possible.
little early. I think in the timeline to see Bo-Katan, but I definitely think we'll hear a reference to the Mandalorians in some way. I mean, they
Yeah.
gotta
Or at least her family.
at least yeah, at least her family. Yeah, at least her family. But like,
Actually, no, Bo-Katan was already
right,
present,
right?
if
Was
I'm
she?
not wrong.
Okay,
She
okay.
was, but not she was a kid still, I think,
So then
like a
maybe we'll see
teenager.
her. Maybe we'll see her train then. Maybe we'll see the
It's
legacy
possible.
of the Mandalorians. And just to connect with what I cut you off saying, I'm sorry about that, but yeah, there is
No, it's all
so
good.
many possibilities that this can do. This show can do. I mean, I think we can go on and make more theories
Yeah.
and keep assuming this can happen. This can happen. This can go this way, right? It's just
Yeah,
such
and
a
actually,
broad
sorry,
thing.
I was processing. No, Bo-Katan is around.
Okay.
She is around.
See, this is
Yeah.
why I brought Janito for this conversation, because I don't know all the facts. He does. So,
Nah.
um, so if anything in this conversation is wrong, send him an email, not me. Correct him. But no,
Nah, I don't know all, but
there is a lot of there's a lot of stuff. There's a lot of stuff that
yeah.
we can see happen. So we're
And I
almost.
think most of that stuff is what we want to see.
Yes, yes. I think
That's what we want to see happen.
Disney got the idea of, like, what, let's give them what they want, because we made magic with Luke coming back and just Mando.
Yeah.
With that being said, we're almost at the end of our show. But I know we titled this episode Star Wars Geek Out, but I just need your take on this. Are you up to date with Falcon and the Winter Soldier episode 3?
Hmm.
All right, so for those that haven't seen episode 3, this is your spoiler warning. So after that is over, it's your fault if you're still listening. Do you think, who do you think the power broker is?
I knew you would ask that.
You're going just gonna go
Um,
straight. We're almost out of time,
man,
but go straight to that question. Who is the power
you know,
broker?
I have a strong feeling. I have a strong feeling it might be the new Captain America.
You think
I don't know why.
he might be the
I think because I mean, just kind of thinking about it, like who are the flag smashers targeting?
right, right,
You know, and why would they be targeting? They obviously know who the power broker is because she's getting messages from him, right?
right,
Um, saying you stole my stuff, I'm gonna kill you.
right.
So I feel like it could be him. I feel
Okay.
like that would be a huge twist. I feel like that would be the biggest twist that we could possibly think of. Um, there, I saw a couple people speculating as Sharon. I don't think it's Sharon,
I think she might
but
be working for him. Not. I don't
yeah,
think she is
but I
the
think
actual
she
power
is
broker.
doing it to actually get to him. You know what I mean?
You
Instead of
so a double agent of sorts.
double agent type thing. Yeah, that's what I think.
I don't think she would risk
Um,
it though, because I mean, excuse me, she's wanted in the states, but she's living a good life here in this island. But do you
right?
think she would risk it?
Because I don't
Remember we
feel
did
I didn't
hear.
get the vibe.
Yeah,
I didn't get the vibe that she was the power broker because in that whole scene when she walks in and she sees the guy dead, she didn't overreact.
yeah, yeah.
She didn't overreact to seeing the scientist dead. So it's like, you
I
know what I
think
mean?
I think she reacted later though, when she's getting in the car and she's talking to
Or
who is
saying,
obviously her
yeah,
security guard, like, "Hey, we have a problem," and then she says, "We actually have a couple problems. I'll tell you on the way." Like, I think there is more to that. There's more to that
yeah.
than just
I feel that's what
right.
I think too.
Yeah,
But
there's more to
I
that.
don't think she is the power broker. You know what I mean? It
My
could be that she's evil. It could.
oh man, my
Who do you think?
my theory is that Thunderbolt Ross has to be the power
Okay.
broker. Remember, since Hulk, he's been trying to get the super soldier serum, and now it's here, and they stole it from somebody that's powerful. Because if you, and this is why I think it's Thunderbolt Ross, when we see the end of episode 2, I think, yeah, episode 2, and the flag smashers are flying away, the people that show up, they don't look like mob.
Yeah.
Compared to the killers that we saw in episode 3 that are in that island, right?
Mm-hmm.
We don't see them that way. We see them like government soldiers
That's and
with
that's why
government
I
soldiers with no badges. So who would have the
yeah.
power to have like a little army on the side without raising too many flags? Has to be Thunderbolt Ross. Has to be General
Yeah,
Ross.
I think that would be my second choice.
Yeah.
That would be my second choice. The only reason I'm pushing more towards the new Captain America is because of that reason that the Flag Smashers are targeting the what is it, the GRC, I think it is.
Yeah, yeah, Jersey.
I forgot the name. There and Captain America is actually working with the GRC.
Yeah.
Uh, and I feel like he wants it to be able to be Captain America
Yeah.
for
I
real. And then people can kind of, and he could get away with doing bad stuff behind the scenes, you
So
know?
this is this, and I
Um,
think you and I haven't had this conversation, but
no, we haven't.
this is my honest take on Captain America, the fake Captain America, hashtag not my cap. Um,
Yeah.
I honestly believe that he already got part of the super soldier serum, not all of it. I think he's getting bits and bits, because the more we see him in the show, the more of a jerk he's turning into. So
Yeah.
maybe that's the side effect, that he's turning more vicious and vicious and vicious as he's getting more doses. This is why I say that. Remember when he gets introduced in episode 2, they say that, his body's being studied by MIT, and we see him throw the shield like Cap would. I mean, the
Yeah.
only other person that I've seen throw that shield that way is Bucky, but he has a super soldier
Yeah.
serum in him. So And then this brings me to this point too. So he already, I think he already has part of the super soldier serum, but I also think that Falcon will get part of the super
Yeah.
soldier serum just because we've seen in the trailers him throwing that shield the same way. Now
Yeah.
I know the metal vibranium, it's vibranium, right? Vibranium is very
Hmm.
is light, but I don't think they're strong enough to throw it that way and bounce it back, or
Bounce it back.
have it stuck in a tree that way. I mean, let's be honest. You and I, we might not be the most fit guys, but if you had the hammer, I mean the hammer, the shield, and you would throw it, do you think you can get it stuck in a tree like that?
No.
No, definitely not.
Not even like,
A
not even
dent.
like, yeah, not even if I've been working out my whole life. I think I would be able.
So I mean, obviously he's an army guy. Sam's an army guy, right? But
Right.
I still don't think he is strong enough to do that type of damage with the shield. So I mean, at some point, we have to see. I think one of the things we might find out later is that either Zemo or Bucky, but somebody took from that lab a sample of the super soldier serum, or some type of thing. Because I mean, I think that guy lied when he said that he only made 20 vials. I mean, if he has the if that's what made him money, don't you think he would make more? I think he
Yeah.
would. I think he was just
Or at
lying.
least keep a sample.
Keep a
At least
sample.
keep one
Yeah,
sample. Yeah.
just so I
I
definitely
think.
think Falcon will get the super soldier serum. Go ahead. Yeah.
I think he will, but by accident. I don't think he'll do it on purpose. I feel like
Mm.
maybe in a fight or something, and
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
maybe he falls on it. I don't know. I feel like it might be by accident.
Okay.
Just because he constantly says he doesn't want to be
Yeah,
like Captain America, like
for sure. He wants to
he
be his own
doesn't even
man.
want the shield.
Yeah.
Yeah, because he thinks that represents Steve Rogers. It doesn't represent him.
Right, right.
So, you know, I
What do you
think
think?
I think he will.
Do you think Zemo is gonna double cross at any point?
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, I feel like he will. Um,
Okay, what is your honest take on
I don't know
Zemo?
what he will do, but
Yeah.
I feel like he will.
Are you happy with the direction of taking Zemo? Because the Zemo that we see in Civil War is the Zemo who is destroyed by the fact that his family's dead and he just wants revenge. To this guy's rich and he's funny, like
Yeah.
completely character change. And I go back to that scene where they're at that party and he's just awkwardly dancing, like bumping his fist. Um, to me, it was like this is two different takes of that character. What do you
Yeah.
think of the character, the way they're playing the character now? Like this super chill guy who's like, oh, yeah, I try to kill people, but I'm not all that. I'm kind of funny, and I have a sense of
Yeah. I think
humor.
it's just like him playing the character. You know what I mean?
As an
Like,
act.
oh, I'm friendly,
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
you know.
yeah. Okay.
Oh, I'm a normal person kind of thing, I feel like that's what he's
He's trying to do.
trying to do, so they feel like he is a normal person. Oh, he's not that bad of a guy,
Yeah, yeah,
and
yeah.
then he'll betray them eventually.
Do you think?
I feel like that's kind of what he's doing with it.
Do you think we are? What is your honest take? Do you think? Because I have a theory. I think Captain America is going to die. The new Captain America, John Walker. I feel he's gonna die, and that's how um, Sam gets the shield back. Because I don't think that they will steal it. I don't think they would go back on the run. I don't think the Wakandans will give him another one. Because and that brings me to this
Right.
point. The Wakandans want Zemo. Bucky might have
Yeah.
to be like, hey, you got us. We might have to go off script a little here. I can't give you Zemo till he helps us with this. So they might not be too happy with them to give him another shield. So, do you think? I think that John Walker will die.
I think so too.
Yeah.
I think so too. That's the only way I see his character ending. Um, I feel like he's gonna. Well, see, that's where if in scenario two he's not the power broker, I would think that he's gonna die
Yeah.
as as a sacrifice in a way, like doing the right thing. I feel like he's gonna die doing the right thing,
Yeah.
and then that's when Falcon needs to step in and take over.
So I just noticed
But
something. I noticed something very weird. Sorry that I cut you off. But I noticed
no,
something weird when I Googled the cast of Falcon and the Winter Soldier, and they have him playing as U.S. agent. So they don't call him Captain America.
mm,
So maybe I have a feeling that maybe we might see him quote unquote die just to have him resurrected as the version of U.S. agent
okay,
towards the end. I mean, if you,
yeah,
I'm not sure if I'm not really sure if you're in all up to date with the comics and how he started, but um, in a nutshell, John Walker wanted to be a hero. The power broker gave him super soldier serum. Then he worked for the power broker as a wrestler, kind of like the WWE version in the comics, right? And then he
right,
wanted to do his own thing, so he had a group of he called them Buckies that were with him to fight crime. But in other instances, he would send them to do crime, and then he would show up to be the hero. So to me, it seems like he would do anything just to be that hero, which is kind
yeah,
of different than what they're doing here. When we introduced
right.
to John Walker in episode 2, I felt like I'm like I think I like him a little with his honest take on like I'm just trying to be me. I don't want to be Steve Rogers either. I got big shoes to fill, and he's being all humble. But then at the end, we see that turn. He's like, "Then get out of my way." I'm like, "Dude, you're a jerk." You're a
Yeah,
jerk. So, um, I mean, I think maybe we'll see. Maybe they'll do the Steve Rogers thing where he dies, quote unquote, and then comes back as a different person. I mean, obviously Steve Rogers came out back as himself, but in a different era. But what I'm trying to say is maybe we'll see him die, but then just to be resurrected as he was agent.
yeah, it's possible. Yeah, but something you said earlier on the Wakandan thing,
Yeah.
I feel
Oh,
like they're actually gonna join with Bucky.
you
I don't
think?
know. I
You
feel
think?
like in order to follow Simo around, I feel like she's gonna be like, well, I can't leave you out of my sight till you know
Yeah. Oh man.
until we get him. You know what I mean?
So so there's something strange there though, because um when Bucky says I was expecting you, he made it personal. So
Right.
maybe him and what's her name, Io, I think that's her name, Io.
Yeah.
Well, her name is actually Florence Kazumba, if I'm not butchering that name. Um, I think that's her. Yeah, yeah, Io. Um, maybe they had a relationship back in Wakanda or something.
hmm I did get that vibe too,
Because it
and
wasn't
it's
just like the Wakandans are here. It was more of like, hey, I was expecting you this whole time, right?
yeah, it's possible. It's very possible. I think because of the amount of time he spent in Wakanda,
Yeah.
it's a possibility that he grew into a relationship with one of them. So
Maybe not a whole relationship, but maybe like a friendship, like a close friendship.
yeah, yeah,
Or
like
maybe a
you know what I
relationship. Who
mean?
knows? Yeah, yeah. No, no, no. I mean,
Yeah.
either way. So okay, so that was two takes. We did two podcasts, man. We talked about Falcon and we talked about Star Wars. So that's a pretty good conversation. Before we go, Junie,
Yeah.
any last words either on Star Wars or Falcon? Now that we ended up, I don't know, we're talking about Falcon. I saw an opportunity that you were here, and I just need my friends' honest,
Yeah.
honest opinions on these things, the things that matter to us geeks and nerds. This is the stuff that matters to us. So
Right.
I saw an opportunity. I said, let's pull the trigger. Any last words? Any
Right.
last comments on either one?
Yeah. I did. Since you brought up Falcon and Winter Soldier, and your previous podcast, man, it's spot on. By the way,
Thank you, man.
and just I feel like it's gonna have such a huge social impact.
For sure.
Falcon and Winter Soldier, and I love what they're doing with it. I just want to say that, and
Yeah.
anybody that hasn't watched it, start watching it.
Yeah.
It's got so much social social, relationship to what we're living in present times. And
Definitely.
I really recommend watching it, even if you don't like Marvel. Like I've been pushing my wife to to come and watch them. I was like, look, you got to see this, and
You
then
got to
she's
see
like,
this.
wow, like
Yeah,
just because the way they're putting it out there, like the racism in the country and stuff. So
for sure.
yeah.
So, um, I definitely think that this is a big testament by Marvel to not only fix the things that they've done in the past in comics,
Mhm.
but to
Mhm.
give their the place for minorities to be heroes. I mean, for the
Yeah.
longest, the heroes have been white, blonde, red hair, right? Flash,
Mhm.
or as my friend pointed out in last podcast, shout out to Wes. He said, Superman's supposed to be an alien, but why does it look like a Caucasian man, right?
Yeah.
With like perfect
Yeah.
body and everything. So I mean, he's supposed to look like an alien. When I think of an alien, I think of Martian Manhunter, right? Just
Mhm.
completely look like a Martian. But I think, and props to Marvel for stepping up their game and
Yeah.
actually doing something about social injustice. Like even if people don't realize, for example, when we got the Mandarin and Iron Man 3, how disappointed were you when to find out it was a white dude, right? But then
Right.
it was a fake Mandarin. But now that we're gonna get Shang-Chi, right, and the Legend of the Ten Rings, you see that cast is all Asian actors, which to me is
Yeah.
like, dude,
That's
that
awesome.
is awesome because there are so many great Asian actors now, right? And
Oh yeah.
they're giving them their place. I mean, Miss Marvel's coming later this year, and she's gonna be played, I think, by an Arabic descent actress, which in
Right.
the comics
Yep. I did see that.
she's Muslim, right? So I totally love the fact that Marvel is going that way to portray more and more minorities as heroes. Let's not even
Yep.
go far. Uh, uh, Morales, Spider-Man, I forgot his name.
Oh
Jesus,
yeah. Miles Morales.
Miles Morales. There you go. He is what, part Puerto Rican, right? Or Dominican,
Mhm.
either
Yeah.
one or the other. Shout out to our Dominican brothers and Puerto Rican brothers as well and sisters,
That's right.
right? Like they're getting a shout out. They're getting a hero. I can't wait for a Mexican hero, right? Um,
Yeah.
I thought of that when Ant-Man 2, when uh, she's talking. I forgot her name. Dang it! We're on a podcast and we're recording. Jesus. Oh, the Wasp is talking to Luis, and Luis says, "I wish I had a suit, even if I didn't have powers, but I want a suit." And I was like, "That is so relatable as a minority to want to have a hero that you
Yeah.
look up to, right?" I mean,
That's right.
I'm not saying they're gonna
Yeah.
get Captain Mexico, but I mean, we might see some superhero of a different descent come through. Um, but
Yeah.
so going back to the point I was making, because I got a little off, but I'm just giving props to Marvel for the fact that they're including a lot more minorities in their
Yes, sir.
films and their shows. And I think that we're coming around. We're turning up that tide that we talked about last week's on the last week's podcast. Because if you really look at the stuff that was happening during that time, I mean, and it's something that we didn't really get into with Wes because just there was so much to talk about. But I mean, the comic books were a big source of propaganda on children. You know,
Mhm.
in most of the during the Civil War, I mean the Cold War, sorry, not Civil War, during the Cold War, a lot of the antagonists in comics were Russian, right?
Mm.
And then when we get
That's
into
right.
problems with China, then we see comics turning the villains into Asians. And so, saying, and that set up prejudgment in children of thinking that if you were Russian, you're a
Yeah.
bad guy. I mean, even movies in the 80s and even the 90s, Die Hard wasn't in Die Hard 1,
Yeah.
wasn't the bad guy Russian? Yeah,
Yeah.
Rocky,
Yep.
the bad guy was a Russian, right? And
Right.
we all and you always think of a Russian, oh, he's got to be some badass fighter and he's got to be a bad guy, right?
Yeah.
And so
That's right.
and now they're fixing that with they're fixing that with Black Widow. She is from Russian descent, but she's a superhero.
That's right.
She's not a villain. Well, she was before, she was an assassin and everything, but now she's cleaning up that slate, and we're gonna see more superheroes from Russian descent, and so that's what I'm saying. That's what I'm trying to say.
Yeah.
Marvel is really expanding the scope and changing that way that how comics were perceived, and to think, imagine, be honest, as a father, would you let your kid, would you let Jet, shout out to Jet, would you let Jet read comics that had
No,
racist
I wouldn't.
things in him, right? Would you, like, racist stereotypes, would you let him
Mm-mm.
read it? What if he tells you, Dad, I
No.
want to get into comics like Haido and read all the old school ones? You be careful. Be like, you would have to
Yeah.
explain to him, like, hey, look, this is how the world worked before, but not now. But even then, as a father, I'm sure you would think, like, you would hesitate, right?
Right.
And be like, oh no, I don't think this would be good. I don't think this would be good.
Yeah. No, definitely. Definitely. And I appreciate that they've corrected that, you know, for the longest time. Um, and I mean, DC's still awesome, but
Yeah,
for the longest time, DC was my thing.
yeah,
And seeing what Marvel has done has flipped the script. Like
yeah,
now I love Marvel more, you know. Like now I do because I appreciate what they're doing,
for sure.
and not only trying to correct their mistakes, but they've been consistent
Hmm.
for the past, what, 15 years now, 14 years that
Yeah,
they've been doing all these films. So
for sure.
um, I definitely appreciate Marvel for what they're doing, and that's why I feel comfortable with him watching the movies, even though they're not so much for little kids like they were trying to in the past, but
Yeah,
they still love it.
yeah,
The little kids can still appreciate a
yeah,
hero.
for sure.
So
And I think I aired this sentiment last show. I'm still a DC fan just because those were the first comics that I was introduced to. Growing up, watching Batman, the animated series, was the thing to do on Saturdays. And just the fact that a lot of the characters that we see on on Marvel are just copycats of what they did in DC. So
yeah,
that's just my thing. But
yeah,
definitely, I know where you're coming from, and I see what you're doing with giving props to Marvel for fixing and opening up the scope. Maybe that's something that DC is trying to do. I don't know. Did you get a chance to see Snyder Cut, or did you even
yeah.
bother
I
with it?
did,
You
I
did.
did,
So if you
and
so
and it
you
was amazing.
so there you go, there you go. So with
It
that
was
being
good.
said, did you see the difference between what they did with Wonder Woman in the first Justice League compared to this?
Yep,
Right? And
yep.
I mentioned it last podcast. Wonder Woman was just used as a sex symbol. Right? There was a
Right.
lot of cuts in that scene that, were just, like, I guess you could say it, pleasing to the eye. If you were, if you, just, they were just pleasing to the eye for the fact that Gal Gadot is a beautiful woman, and she was just portrayed, sorry, as a sex symbol. But now in this new cut by Zack Snyder, we see her completely go badass and just break
Yeah.
the norm of, like, oh, I'm a female superhero, I gotta be sexy the whole time. No, she just
Yeah.
went straight, like, to me, that first scene when we get introduced to her and she just goes, like, full on taking on the bullets.
Yeah.
That was so insane to me.
Yeah.
That
It
was
was
one of the
good.
best shots in
It
that
was
film.
definitely good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I feel like we're transitioning into a new world where it's open to everybody now. And I
Yeah.
think I've said this before. I think we're doing a little better with the racism part.
Heck yeah.
With neglecting and being abusive to people of different genders now. That's something that the world is coming to, that whether you agree with it or not. I still believe that the respect has to be there for the individual as a
Yes,
person, as a
sir.
human being. So, because obviously there's a lot of people that have religious stands, right? And
Right.
they might see it another way, but regardless of what your religious views are, the respect to the human being has to be there, right?
That's right.
So I think we're heading into that world where, I mean, if it's in the comics, I mean, if it's in movies, it's just image of what's happening in the real world. And I think definitely our world needs healing, man. And
Yeah,
if shows like Falcon and the Winter Soldier can bring a little peace to this type of things, I think we're heading in a good place.
that's right, man. Yep, 100%. Looking forward to seeing what they do with the show, man.
Oh, can you believe we're midway. We're already on the last leg of this show.
Yeah,
I honestly thought it was gonna be a lot longer because now we have to wait till what, May, till we get Loki, and
yeah.
then we're gonna see Black Widow in July, I
Black
believe.
Widow.
Right?
Yep.
I can't wait for Loki though. Can't wait for Loki. I think Loki's another is gonna be another home run for Marvel. So,
Oh yeah.
Oisi, yeah.
Yeah,
Any
they're
last
doing
thoughts?
amazing.
Any last thoughts? Any last thing you want
That's
to
it,
add
man.
to this
That's it.
podcast?
Because if
That's
I
it.
add something else,
We're gonna keep
we're gonna
going.
take off again.
So, um, thank you so much for everybody that is gonna watch this or hear this. Thank you so much. Thank you, Janito, for being here, man, and taking the time
You
out of
got
your
it,
busy
man.
schedule to talk to me. So, everybody, like I said, I ended last show. I want to end it the same way. Be good to one another, be kind, and always look for an opportunity to do good to other people. So, peace out, and I will see you guys in the next one. Peace.